What's good, everybody? It's your boy Malcolm, and I am back with another video, and today we are going to be talking about the new Kung Fu Panda 4. Let's get into it. Skadoosh. But before we get into that, make sure you guys like, share, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff. It will help me out a ton. My page is growing, and it's all because of you guys. Also, I do want to give a mild disclaimer. If I seem like I'm talking a little bit differently, it's because I have a wisdom tooth growing in, and it hurts like hell. So I'm going to hurry up and try to do this review, and after this, I'm not talking for the rest of the day. I'm going to just shut up. Alright, so I just came from Kung Fu Panda 4, and I'm gonna be real, I didn't think we needed this. Kung Fu Panda 1, 2, and 3, that trilogy is solid, absolute banger, and I didn't think we were gonna get another one after that. It's probably been, like 5 years since Kung Fu Panda 3? Yeah, I think it's been about 5 years, so I wasn't expecting another one, but I'm glad we got it, because I'm a huge fan of the Kung Fu Panda series. In this movie, Po finds out that he is surpassing the role of Dragon Warrior, and he's going to become the spiritual leader of the Valley of Peace. Now we know Po, all he's ever wanted is to be the Dragon Warrior, so this is hard for him. He does not want to be the spiritual leader. He just wants to keep doing his thing as a Dragon Warrior, kicking ass and taking names. So he decides that he'll find the next Dragon Warrior after he gets one last adventure in, going to fight this villain Chameleon, who is a sorcerer. She has the power to shapeshift into all different types of people, and she steals the powers of all his past villains. And we know Po got some crazy ass villain. One of the biggest things about this movie is there's no Furious 5. And I love the Furious 5, but they're not in it. Po made a quick comment that they were all on different missions, so they weren't going to be here. But I really did miss the Furious 5. Now, I do remember reading somewhere that Kung Fu Panda 4 has the lowest budget out of all the other Kung Fu Pandas. So maybe that's why. Maybe they just couldn't afford the Furious 5. It's Jackie Chan, Angelina Jolie, Seth Rogen, like, these are expensive actors, so I'm sure not having them probably cut down that cost a lot. So I could imagine that's probably why the Furious 5 wasn't there. Also, I was pretty surprised that there was no Oogway cameo. I feel like he always finds his way to get a little bit into each movie, but no, he wasn't here at all. Also, Shifu wasn't a huge part of this movie. He hasn't been a huge part of the movies in a while, but even still, I expected to see a little bit more. So with no Furious 5, no Oogway, and only a hint of Shifu, we were in a severe lack of side characters. So who did we get? We got Awkwafina and Po's two dads. I'm not a huge fan of Awkwafina, but I do think she did pretty good in this movie. I mean, I've seen her in a couple movies now, and she's pretty much the same character in every single movie. So you guys can imagine what she was like in this movie. Whatever you're thinking she was, that's exactly what she was. Personally, I wish they would have got somebody different. I find her voice kind of annoying, and her acting is pretty one-dimensional, which is the complete opposite of Jack Black as Po. Jack Black did such an incredible job acting in this movie, like he does in pretty much every Kung Fu Panda movie or pretty much any movie that he's in. He did an incredible job. The skadoosh, the voices, everything that he did, it just felt like Po. It worked so perfectly. He absolutely bodied it. 10 out of 10 to Jack Black. Also, Po's two dads did a pretty good job in the movie. They did pretty much exactly what you would expect. Po's panda dad was pretty much the same that he was in the last movie. His duck dad is the same that he's always been. But they're very funny together, and I did like seeing that dynamic. They had some great comedy moments throughout the movie. And that goes for the whole movie. This movie had great comedy, just like all the other Kung Fu Pandas do. There were a lot of moments in which I genuinely laughed, and there were kids in the theater, and the kids were definitely laughing at many parts of the movie, so you can rest assured that Kung Fu Panda 4 is still as funny as the other ones. But the one thing I can say Kung Fu Panda 4 did better than the other Kung Fu Pandas was the choreography. Oh my god, the fights were incredible. Kung Fu Panda 2 had some really good choreography as well, but I honestly think I might put number 4 over 2. Po's fighting just keeps getting better and better, but it still has that Po essence. He still has that comedic, clumsy fighting that he still mixes in with the classic kung fu and just pieces you up. Plus, the villain was so fluid because she has the ability to shapeshift. It made for very interesting fights because she's consistently changing size and shape and getting small and slithery, and you know what I'm saying? She can do so many different things while Po is adapting to it. It was great. I had a blast watching those fight scenes, especially the final fight. Speaking of Chameleon, I think she did a fantastic job. I think she fits in perfectly with all of Po's other villains. She was menacing, she was comedic, she challenged Po not only physically but mentally. I think that she made a great villain, and honestly the movie would not have been nearly as good without her. They picked a great villain for this movie. And obviously the acting was impeccable. I've never seen Viola Davis do a bad job at anything. Honestly, she might be my favorite actress of all time. Now, my biggest problem with this movie was there was not enough Tai Lung. If you know me, I think Tai Lung is the best villain in the Kung Fu Panda series, and obviously they didn't want him to take the shine away, but we just didn't get enough scenes with him. He had maybe a good 45 seconds where he got to actually like fight and do things, which was awesome. I remembered why Tai Lung is such the GOAT. He can fight. We know Tai Lung can scrap. But it was only a couple seconds before he got packed up and we just didn't really see him fight for the rest of the movie. I also had a huge problem with what they did with Tai Lung's character. I get it. He's supposed to grow. He's supposed to mature. But Tai Lung would never in a million years acknowledge Po as the true Dragon Warrior. He just wouldn't do it. It's so against his character. Now, I don't know what he got going on in the spirit world. Maybe he pieced up with Oogway and got to talk to him or whatever and got more mature, but it just didn't fit. It didn't fit at all. Outside of that, I can say that the plot of the movie kind of fell flat. Well, I don't know if it fell flat. It was just very predictable. After probably like the first 10 minutes of the movie, you pretty much know exactly where this movie is gonna go. From the moment they introduced Awkwafina's character, I was like, oh, okay, so this is gonna happen, blah, blah, you know exactly where it's very predictable, it's very cliche. Now, does that make it bad? Not at all. I wasn't really watching this movie for the plot. I was watching it for the characters, the acting, the fighting, all those other things, which were all good. The plot, it was cool. It was alright. As much as I did enjoy this movie, personally, I hope it is the last of the Kung Fu Panda series because I don't think we need any more. I don't think we needed another one after 3. 4 was cool. I'm glad we got it, but I don't think we need any more after this. I definitely don't want to see any adventures of this new Dragon Warrior. Maybe they'll turn it into like a TV series or something, which I won't watch, but I just don't think we need a Kung Fu Panda 5 with this new Dragon Warrior. I don't need it. I don't want it. I don't need it. I'm cool without it. As for my rating of the movie, I had a lot of fun watching it. It's a good movie, but it is probably the weakest out of the 4. Not probably. It is definitely the weakest out of the 4 Kung Fu Panda movies. That doesn't mean it's bad, but the other 3 are just so much better. If I had to give it a ranking out of 10, I'd probably give it a 6.5. It's solid. I wouldn't see it again. I don't think you need to rush to theaters to see it, but I had a blast watching it. I'm glad I went. I would never tell anybody don't go see this movie because it's super fun. But yo, in the comments, let me know what you guys thought of this movie and let me know what other movies I should be watching out for, what y'all want to see movie reviews for, and just what you guys want to see content of on this channel. I would love to hear more. And before I go, make sure you guys like, share, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff. I would appreciate that a ton. I'm gonna go chill because this tooth is killing me, and I will see you guys in the next video. I'm out. Peace.